Hey guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Hybrid Network comics review, and today we'll be taking a look at Nightwing Rebirth #1 from writer Tim Seeley and artist Yannick Paquette, featuring Dick Grayson's return to his superhero alter ego after his time undercover in the mysterious spy organization Spiral. Quick note, narratively the issue is a little more complex than most straightforward and linear comics. The story is told both in the present day and through a series of flashbacks, with a little internal monologue that plays as Dick speaking to the audience thrown in for good measure. In the present day, Dick Grayson is spending a day with Damian Wayne, the current Robin, and Bruce's biological son. So Dick takes the young Robin to an arcade for some relaxation, free of the sometimes disapproving eyes of Batman, who apparently doesn't like video games. And there's a larger reason for all of this, and that's why we turn to the flashbacks. You see, they largely function to tie up loose ends. I mean, what happened to Helena Bertinelli, how and why Dick left Spiral, but all of them feature Dick Grayson searching for a mysterious device, which leads up to the real why and how of his return to Gotham City, saving young Damian from a bomb unknowingly implanted by the Parliament of Owls during the Robin War. And this sets up the villain for this series in a big way. The Parliament, who if you didn't read Robin War, are just the larger organization that Gotham's Court of the Owls is just one small part of. And at the end of that event, Grayson had joined their ranks to end the war, but also to serve as a double agent in the future. So the Parliament, for now at least, doesn't know that he's not on their side, but it doesn't look like his leg up on them is as pronounced as it could be, as in one fell swoop the Parliament killed off Lincoln March, who had kind of been a Talon, and their new Talon seems to be on to Grayson, but that cliffhanger is of course left for the rest of the series. On to some pros and cons, and as a huge Nightwing fan, I might be a little biased, but I think Seeley just absolutely nails the character in this issue. The Grayson run that he co-authored with the new Batman helmer, Tom King, is probably my favorite comic series ever, and the way that series nailed Dick Grayson just kind of rolls over into this issue and is a very, very good sign for the new series. And for the complexity of the narrative, it actually makes sense. I think it seems more complex to me because I had a hard time actually describing it and writing it down to tell you in this review, but when you read the issue, it actually does feel natural and it's got a really nice flow to it. The art, while not my favorite after being spoiled by Mikel Janen's gorgeous art for Grayson for so many issues, is well done. I love the inclusion of what looks like Donald Trump in the Parliament of Owls, and that made me laugh a little bit more than it probably should have. Speaking of the Parliament, having them come front and center as a villain for Dick is perfect in my opinion, because the story of the Court of the Owls, of course, is that it's this destiny, this birthright that Dick Grayson inherited but walked away from. And while that was explored, a little bit here and there in the original Batman story and Robin War, of course, it seems like this was this fastball right over the plate that Scott Snyder had set up for someone to really hit out of the park and dive into. So hopefully we actually see that in this run from Seeley. And minor note here, the blue suit being back, yeah, that's a huge plus for me. Really, the only negative in my mind is kind of the whip-around nature of the story, and I know I just said it had a good flow, and it really does when you read it, but this is definitely a setup issue, and that's a little excusable because there's always going to be one of those in a new series, but to see so many of these great characters from Grayson make an appearance, it sometimes just came off as them hastily tying up loose ends that didn't really do those characters justice, so hopefully we'll at least see a little more of some of his Grayson cohorts in this new series. All in all, this was a really good issue, I think. Despite maybe being a little too frenetic and a little too frantic in some places, it really nailed the character on the head and set up the perfect villains for at least this first run of the new series. Overall, I'll give Nightwing Rebirth #1 an 8.5 out of 10. And that brings us to the end of this review, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider supporting us on Patreon for access to all sorts of exclusive goodies. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you in a few weeks for the actual #1.